So what is it like to be Spider-Man?
Man, being Spider-Man is fantastic. No one can see my face, man. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Awesome.
Nice.
A little hot though.
I can imagine.
Oh, I'm gonna snag it. It's so rewarding getting to go around every day, making a difference in people's lives. You know, it could be this dog here. You know, it could be some kid who, you know, got a sticker for being cool. Hey, how you doing? What's up? That's a cool badge. Where'd you get the badge? At school. What'd you get it for? You saw police? Was he nice? That's cool. I like the police. They always help me fight crime. Hey, you do good, okay? You stay in school. School makes you smart. That's cool. It really doesn't matter. It could be some person on the street whose life I saved by, you know, there was a taxi coming and I swooped down and saved them. It doesn't matter. It's so rewarding just knowing that people's lives are better because I get to help them. I get to make a difference in their life.
Do you get paid to be a superhero?
Oh, that's good, man. You got jokes, buddy. I give you that. That's good. No, I don't get paid. You know what? I get paid. I have a job. People don't know I'm Spider-Man. I get paid for my other job. I don't get paid for being Spider-Man, so no. Yes and no.
That's fair.
Yep.
Would you ever consider doing something like what Luke Cage is doing, where you're like a hero for hire?
Man, I don't even know who Luke Cage is. Who is Luke Cage?
He's more in Harlem. He's
Man, I don't go to Harlem. I'm from Queens.
Why don't you go to Harlem?
Dude, it's scary. No, I'm just kidding. I go to Harlem. I'm just messing with you. No, I don't know. I wouldn't consider hiring myself out as like a mercenary. I mean, you know, S.H.I.E.L.D. talked to me a couple times. Mr. Stark came over once. Actually, he made this suit. The one I was using before was a little... Man, it was my first suit, okay? You gotta give me credit where credit's due, but Mr. Stark, he's great, Mr. Stark. I love him. He's a good guy. He's so good. His heart's in the right place. He's passionate. He's misunderstood. You know, that's what he is. He's like me. I'm like him. We're very similar, Mr. Stark and I. He has a lot of money, and I'm not saying that he doesn't give me any of that money, but he doesn't. And would it help? Yeah, maybe. Do I need it to keep going? No, not really. I mean, I can make do without. It's okay.
Do you feel that superheroes by nature that they're misunderstood, as you mentioned?
Well, sure. I mean, why not? Everybody's misunderstood to some degree. I'm no different. You know, I'm just
like, how is Tony Stark misunderstood? Because, you know, he's very, very rich. He's very prolific. He's, you know, one of the most eligible bachelors in New York. You know, he's got more money than he knows to do anything. He's a celebrity figure. He's a genuine hero. I mean, you can take a look at the incident alone. You know, it's how is someone who has everything that they could ever want out of life, how are they misunderstood? Like you.
Well, think about this. I mean, I go out and get the mail. You know, I'm a normal guy. I walk down the street. Hey man, I gotta fight crime. I go to buy beer when I'm low on beer.
What's funny is it's Fandom Friday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. What happens on Fandom Friday?
Well, typically you would get 5% off, but I'm gonna give you 10.
Oh.
Love would be a kid.
These are normal everyday things, and everyday people have to do these everyday things. Mr. Stark is misunderstood because he doesn't have to do these things, but he's still a human. You know, he's still a guy. He's one of us.
How do you justify being a superhero in a city like New York when, if you take a look at the incident, there was so much carnage and destruction done? Do you feel that the incident, did that give you like a call to arms, so to speak? Did you feel that after seeing the incident you could see yourself helping?
Yeah, certainly. So that incident proved one big thing to me, especially after what happened to me, and I became Spider-Man. Heroes are definitely misunderstood. I mean, you think about all of these people who say, "Oh, the Avengers, they need to be accountable for what's going on. They need to be held responsible for all the damage they leave." Man, things would be way worse off if they weren't there. Aliens are coming out of the sky. Your government organizations are dropping helicarriers down on the city because they're trying to take over. I mean, if the Avengers hadn't been there, what would the situation be like,
What's it like wearing that costume every day?
Oh man, it chafes like crazy. I'm not saying I get swamp ass, but it's pretty stuffy in that thing. I gotta take the mask off because I can't see anything because it's fogging up. It gets itchy sometimes. It's tight, it's skin tight, so it gets hot, it gets itchy. But it's also empowering. It's one of those things where you're willing to take one for the team. It's something that you're doing for the people.
How easy is it for you to put it on and take it off?
You have no idea, man. It's so hard to put the thing on. Getting out of it's not too bad. You can get out of it pretty easy, but putting the thing on is hard for several reasons. Metaphorically, of course, because you know what you're about to get into. Okay, there's some bad guys out there. There's always going to be bad guys. There's always going to be news reporters who think that you're a menace. You're terrible, and every time you put the suit on, that's what you're becoming, and you're giving them more of that power to say, "Hey, look at this guy. Oh, he's a terrible, he's a menace. He's the real criminal. This vigilante, this Spider-Man. I'm telling you, he's behind it." So you're always going to have these naysayers. You're always going to have these people who don't approve of what you're doing. But as long as you keep the goal in mind, you're helping people. That makes putting the suit on that much easier. And taking it off's always easy because you're always tired.
Do you enjoy the press that you get as Spider-Man, and yet no one who lives in your neighborhood knows that you're the guy?
Man, that's the best part actually, because it takes so much pressure off your shoulders. You're not, there's no pressure to perform because you're just still you when you take the mask off. You're still just, you have the same family, the same friends, the same people you got to work with. They don't know the difference, so you still get to be that guy. But then you put the mask on and everybody loves you, not for who you are, but for what you do.
Do you ever feel more comfortable being inside of the costume? Like, if you could, would you rather just be out in public and just wear that? Do you feel that your personal persona is the mask, so to speak?
That's a tough question to answer. There are good things and bad things about both situations. I enjoy everything about being Spider-Man. It's so great. It's fantastic. About being not Spider-Man when the mask comes off, being me, the real me, there are gives and takes, there are relationships that suffer because of it. There are relationships that wouldn't necessarily be as held back as they are. And of course, that's always going to be somewhat of a regret, but I also know that if I took the mask off and people saw the real me and knew that Spider-Man was me, I would be putting those people in danger. They would constantly be threatened by these bad guys, by these villains, these people who want to just hurt people. And knowing that I can protect them by wearing the mask makes it all that much better.
With the constant media brigade that's going against you about how you're a menace, J. Jonah Jameson, so eloquently put, he's a menace. Do you try to do any sort of like PR? Do you try to reverse that opinion upon yourself? Because there's people who adore you, and then there's people who think that you're no better than the villains that you try to stop.
I mean, there's always going to be people on both sides of the fence. I think the biggest thing is just knowing that the best PR I could get is getting out there and saving a cat from a tree, rescuing a person from a burning building, you know, stopping a giant rhino guy who stole a bunch of plutonium. You know, whatever the thing is that day, that's what I do. And if they want to say that that makes me a bad guy, that makes me a bad guy. But at the end of the day, those people are off the streets. Those people aren't burning in buildings. You know, they're still alive. And I was able to help them. That being said, anytime I get behind one of these public rallies where they try to, you know, put me on camera or something like this, aside from you, of course, you're very understanding about this, and I appreciate that, but any other time, it's like they got a squad of guys waiting to try to tackle me and try to take me down or try to set me up and try to prove that, hey, you know, this guy is actually the villain after all, rah, rah, rah. That's my best Jonah impression, I apologize. But that's not what it's about, man. It's about saving lives. It's about saving the city, keeping the streets safe, and it's about getting out there and being somebody.
All right. Polls show that in the last 6 months that your ratings have actually gone up with women. How do you feel about being so popular with that demographic?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's always going to be girls. Girls are everywhere. I'm sure guys like it too. They see this guy who's, you know, beating up criminals and saving old ladies and helping them cross the street. I mean, that's always a cool thing. They want to be that guy. Women, of course, I'm sure that, you know, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know. Don't ask me that, man. Sure, yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's a cool thing. None of them know who I am. And, you know, even if I had a girlfriend, I'm not saying I don't, but if I didn't, you know, it's not like I can just go, oh, hey, let's go get some coffee, you know, because none of them know who I really am. But sure, I mean, it's kind of fun.
Last question. How long do you think you keep this going for?
As long as it takes, man. I mean, there's always going to be people out there who need to be saved. There's always going to be bad guys. There's always going to be dudes out there who are up to no good, who are trying to cause chaos in the city, and that's just not something I can. That's just not something I can let happen. So, as long as I'm me, as long as I can be me and keep doing this, I'm going to.